Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan. And look, I've got Oliver Shah and Justin Meyers from Atlas Hospitality Group in the studio today. But before we start our conversation, I would like to thank our good friends at Red Roof Franchising for being our production partner today. And give Matt Hostetler a call. He'd love to hear from you. They've got an extended stay brand. They've got a new prototype for that. They've got their economy brands, and they have a soft brand. So call Matt and let him know that producer Danny and I sent you, and he'd love to hear from you. So thank you again to Red Roof. And Oliver Shah, Executive Vice President and founder of Atlas Hospitality Group, and Justin Meyers, Vice President, or is it Senior Vice President now?
I don't know. I'll stick with Vice President for now.
Vice President of Atlas Hospitality.
Should be Senior Vice President.
Well, we'll make that happen. We'll send this to Alan Ray as soon as we go live. Now, we're talking California hotels, brokerage, what's happening in the market. We've got the most prolific hotel broker in the state of California with Oliver Shah. Justin is an outstanding broker in his own right. And these guys are teaming up to help you guys sell your hotels. So, Oliver, do me a favor and introduce yourself to the audience. And then, Justin, why don't you follow up with your intro as well, please?
Sounds good. Well, most people that don't know me, my name is Oliver Shah. Justin and I work with a company called Atlas Hospitality Group. Very small boutique brokerage company. It's actually 8 of us that work at the company right now, 6 senior agents that have about 30 years worth of experience. We specialize in hotel and motel sales in California, as well as debt consolidation, note sales, and lending. And when I mean lending, I mean both private money lending as well as conventional lending and other types of lending for lodging properties.
Justin?
Great. Justin Meyers with Atlas Hospitality Group. Been with Atlas for now almost going on 19 years.
Wow.
Oliver and I have worked together pretty exclusively for about 17 of those years. So just reiterate what Oliver said. Obviously, we're a hotel brokerage firm specializing in California real estate hotels, and still producing, still closing deals. So we're happy to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you. And I can't believe it's been 19 years. I remember when you walked through the door as basically an intern.
Yeah, I had a lot more hair then.
I think we all did. Well, I don't know. Mine's gotten long again, but very good. So, guys, let's start off with the market. What are you seeing and hearing out there? Justin, let's start with you, and then we'll finish that part of the conversation with Oliver, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think the market has remained very resilient, and probably over the last month or so, there's been a lot more optimism than there has in the previous 6 months. I think we're obviously seeing a shift with some bank deals coming out on the marketplace and getting done. We've done a few of those, the 2 of us. But we're still seeing, transactions with, high average price per room and, high prices in California. One anecdotal kind of measurement, the transaction volume for the first half of this year is down about 60%.
Yeah.
So, that's probably due to the delta increasing between, buyer and seller expectations.
Oliver?
Well, the market continues. We were predicting a great slowdown once COVID started. We never thought the government would intervene and give out so much free money out there that enabled people to buy properties, in 2020, 21, and 22. Justin and I probably had our best years in 21 and 22, actually. There's still a lot of that free money hasn't been spent. It's been very difficult to find deals. Even we had our best years last couple of years. It's been very difficult for buyers to find deals. So there's still more money than there is deals out there. And I think that's part of the reason why deals are still selling, is that
the prices we're seeing.
Yeah, the market, there's still more demand than there is supply, which is, surprising. But that's why, I can get into more detail as we go on later about, how much activity we've had at some of our deals. But yeah, it's absolutely demand based.
I agree with you. And I think there is, there's more money on the sidelines right now than any other time in history for both debt and equity. Now, we've got a couple of $1 trillion of CMBS loans coming due soon on all asset classes. And, I don't think we're going to have a bloodbath, because it takes CMBS 2 years to bring something to market anyhow. But, we've got some cracks in the armor with some of the community banks, and you guys for sure use them on your transactions up and down the coastline and the rest of the state. What are you seeing from the lenders out there right now? What's going on with the small community banks that are typically doing the SBA loans and recourse and non-recourse loans? What are you seeing? Jump ball, whoever wants to go first.
You go first.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on your relationship. I think, we've seen a number of these banks, pull out. Obviously, SVB collapse created a bit of a ripple effect where everybody kind of just put pencils down for a little while. We've seen that pick back up. Depending on your relationship and a lot of these buyers out there, their liquidity and their net worth and financial statements look very strong. So they're leveraging that to, get financing done. As a matter of fact, we've got a couple of properties in escrow right now. Oliver and I were just talking about the other day. We've got some very competitive, financing LOIs on that, if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so we're selling a REO right now in Northern California, near wine country, near Napa, and smaller property, from a community bank that ended up, it's a bankruptcy sale, but traditionally, because of the lack of numbers, you would not be able to get a conventional loan on this property. But our borrower surprised us. We assisted him too, but we were surprised ourselves. And again, it's based on having a relationship with a bank and having high liquidity. He was able to get a pretty long-term fixed rate loan, conventional, from a community bank.
Now, doesn't it always make your job easier when you've got that A+ client that's got 2 or 3 different lenders that they've been working with for years? And I believe in depository relations, and I think it just gives you a leg up. Now, is that what you're seeing with this client, this buyer in particular? They've got their own conventional financing. They've got a relationship. Are you seeing more and more of that with other buyers now, or is it still you guys are really combing the market and finding them a lender?
A little bit of both. So, we educate a lot of our clients to make large deposits. Yesterday I met with a new bank in San Diego, a small community bank. I met the president, the CEO, and the 2 major investors.
Nice.
And, a lot of times these banks are, they're kids that, started this bank together, whatever, sometimes it's family money, sometimes it's not. And they're lending it out to the community, Bear in mind, all these loans are full recourse, 85 to 90% of the business that we do, are recourse loans. Personally, I would never invest with somebody that, didn't have a recourse loan, because they got nothing to lose. If the economy goes sour, they can just walk away from the asset. They got nothing to lose. But that's very important, that comment I just said, in that recourse loans. Bank has they have the collateral and they have a guarantee. So when you have a large deposit relationship with the bank, whether it's 1 million, 3 million, 5 or 10 million, and you have a personal guarantee with the collateral, it's really a no-brainer for the bank.
Yeah.
Right. And they're still lending at a higher rate than now it's flipped. Actually, the CMBS rates I'm hearing are actually higher than the conventional rates. But traditionally, the CMBS rates are actually lower.
Yeah.
Right now, what I'm seeing is that the conventional rates are actually lower than the CMBS rates. And again, it's for the exact reason. It's for the depository relationship and the personal guarantee.
Nice.
And I think the community banks too are making that deposit relationship that's up front and center now.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was kind of like not something that was out in front. Now with all these community banks, they're looking for deposits, right? Based on what's happened in that industry. So they're up front saying, hey, if your client can bring over, a few $1 million in deposits, it's going to greatly impact or improve their chances of getting a loan. So they've made that known.
And I think that's a smart tactic on their part. That's something they should do. And Oliver's right. I mean, if you've got a continuing guarantee, you and all of us know people. They're not afraid of continuing guarantees, or they know what they can negotiate to get a burn off it on a guarantee, in part during the life of the loan. I will always remember Bob Olson in a conversation we were having with a few other people. And he goes, I've got no problems getting construction loans. I'm not afraid to sign guarantees. Okay. I can work out burn offs on things too, as we hit milestones and everything else. And that's the way you need to look at it. And I think, if you help the bank take some of the risk out of it, they're going to want to make that loan to you. They're going to work with you, and you put a rather sizable deposit there. That's also another reason for them to get involved with you. And hey, if that first one doesn't work, there won't be a second one, but it works. You and I, all of us know people that have, they've been around this block and been up and down in cycles, and they're still here because they understand the importance of those relationships, just like your clients. And let's talk about that for a little bit. You guys have both got a book of business and clients that come to you first, and you go to them first. I mean, what's it like having the reputation that Atlas does, and you two guys in particular, and the cooperation that you guys have internally getting a deal done? I mean, that's going to be advantageous to your clients, correct?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that Oliver and I have worked really well together is that I think both of us are willing to look at the top 10 or 15 guys for a deal objectively, and say, who's the best buyer for this deal? And sometimes it could be my client, sometimes it could be Oliver's client, and the two of us are willing to take a back seat, when necessary, to do what's right for the deal and do what's right for the firm as far as closing and relationships goes. So that's just my perspective on it. But I think both of us have worked really well in that regard. I mean, obviously Oliver, being in the business as long as he has a significant relationship with multiple people. But we both realize that, we work clients differently. We're not exactly the same.
Right.
And we're going to put who's the best buyer into the deal and get our egos out of the way.
Nice. I love it. Oliver?
So, yeah, just to elaborate more on what Justin said. I mean, I'd like to clarify what best buyer means. Best buyer is, effectively guaranteeing the seller that the property would sell at the best possible price, but with the guarantee. And again, going back to, as commercial real estate agents, we're licensed real estate agents, right? And our fiduciary responsibility is to represent the seller. But this is a very important thing. Representing the seller does not always mean getting him the highest price, right? We ask our sellers up front before we even engage a seller, what's the most important thing, price or guarantee sale? And if they say both, we try to split up their thinking and to basically taking the guarantee, obviously, because if people are just price motivated, honestly, we'll let our competitors take the listing because, we're a 100% commission-based company. We're not salary-based, so we can't afford to just take the listing and, be a sort of order taker, for sellers that are unqualified or,
want a price that's not achievable,
unlearned in the marketplace of what their own hotel is worth. So that's a very important thing. So, a lot of times, we do, we have deadline for offers, we have open houses, we have multiple offers on our hotels. And it's not just a question of, us telling the bank, hey, this is the buyer. It's literally like, hey, there's 18 offers here, 15 offers here. I think one deal we had 41, another one we had 25 offers qualified.
Nice.
And the bank's like so impressed, and they're like, well, what do you think? And then, we pretty much have a system to where, the deal closes without fail,
Oliver, you've always had the highest closing ratio. I mean, if something happened in the 11th hour, okay, you were always able to plug somebody else into it, whether it was one of, Justin's clients or Sachin's or one of your own. And again, part of the point of this show is relationships. You and I, all three of us have had a relationship for an exceedingly long time, and it's grown and gotten better. And you've helped my education in the industry as well. And you do that with your clients on a day-to-day basis. And that's the thing that I think that really separates Atlas being this boutique hotel brokerage firm that specializes just in California and just in hotels. And it's not lost in this mega corporation where they've got all these different silos and all these different brokers doing different things and hoping that maybe they will cross paths and work together at some point. But you guys have had an amazing company, and it just gets better every year with you guys. And I'm very proud of you and what you and Alan and the rest of the team have been able to accomplish. It's just I don't know if it could be replicated today. Things have changed so much, and you guys have always been very cutting edge. Where do you see the market going in 2024?
I mean,
I'll let you take that first.
That's a good one.
The crystal ball.
Yeah.
Well,
mine's got cracks in it, so
I think right now rates are where they need to be at. Okay. I've been in this business for 30 years. When I started, I remember I got a 5-1 arm in my house because I wanted to get a lower rate, and I paid 7.625. So people are very delusional if they think that 3 and 4% interest rates are going to come back. I don't think it will come back.
No.
In fact, when we used to underwrite hotels when we started in the business, we always used to underwrite them at either 9 or 10 caps or even 11 caps, because the average cost of money 20 years ago was around 9 to 10%. All right. And your cap rate has to be higher than your interest rate. And I mean, people make statements like trophy real estate this, trophy real estate that, but not everything is trophy real estate.
Right.
Okay. Trophy real estate is trophy real estate. A trophy property is a trophy property, right? But people with boatloads of money are not stupid. They're not going to just pay a low cap because they have loads of money, and that's what the seller wants. So we're going to have a sort of a medium permanent change on where interest rates are going to be. They're going to remain where they're at. Right now I'm able to do deals with conventional rate financing in the low 6s. Okay. To me, that's still relatively cheap money.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's an experienced borrower with a high deposit relationship that has buying a property that he can prove to a lender that it can have a certain debt coverage ratio that exceeds their minimum number. But I think the market's going to continue where it is. We're going to have a slowdown. At first the European currency versus the dollar was very, very weak. Now it's gained some traction again.
Right.
So I think it's just going to continue the way it is. We're going to have a slowdown. Obviously, some markets that were very hot last year are not as hot this year. But I think moving forward, as long as people just understand that the cost of money is going to be, Again, for the very best borrowers, conventional rate financing 6, and all the way up to, private money rates up to, let's say, 11 to 12,
Right.
somewhere in that range. You're going to have to underwrite your deal somewhere between, a 7 cap and a 12 cap moving forward on any hotel asset.
And I'll just quickly say, I think we're seeing, just from a market standpoint, coastal California in 21 and 22 was so strong. We're starting to see that kind of tail back a little bit. Markets like Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo are starting to slow down a little bit from there. There's so much inflationary pressure that rates got up so high. I think we're starting to see that tail down a little bit. So things are starting to stabilize there. I think, as I mentioned before, the delta, that gap's going to close hopefully, but people are going to normalize based on the current economics of the properties from an income standpoint, as well as where lending rates are going to be at.
I agree, and I've been saying this for a long time now. You cannot have commercial loans at a par rate with a residential, and I think the industry as a whole, not just hospitality, but across all of commercial real estate, is starting to understand that, because you've got a generation of people, running companies now or acquiring assets that aren't used to interest rates like this. Okay. When I started, we had almost a complete shutdown of the real estate market, and interest rates got to 19%. Now you just can't turn that off. What happened? Well, it was the advent of exotic documents, ground leases, which were still used today, really hit their heyday back in the 70s moving forward. And they were short term because everybody realized once we got out of that inflation that they'd be able to close on the deal. But you also had the all-inclusive deed of trust, the seller carryback that wrapped the first, and a third party. You made your payments to a third party, typically the bank, and they dispersed the money to themselves into the seller. And you had the land contract. So it's we lose a lot of lessons every time we get out of one of these events. But anyhow, let's move on to our lightning round. You guys ready for the CLIC Connect lightning round?
Sure.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. We're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. It's going to be word association starting now.
Third-party reports.
Third-party reports.
Phase 1.
Oliver?
Appraisal.
Okay.
Closings.
Closings.
Nonstop.
Your ultimate goal.
I was going to say
Labor.
money in the bank. Labor.
Expensive.
Needy.
Favorite musical act.
Favorite band, group, solo artist, musical. What do you think? What's your favorite band?
Mine's not a band. Mine's a rap group. It's Outkast.
Nice.
Solo artist.
Yeah.
Um,
Could be a solo artist, could be a band or a group.
Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks.
Ooh,
Good
okay.
answer.
Favorite movie.
Favorite movie?
Recently, Maverick. I was a huge Top Gun fan, so Maverick. Real Maverick.
Inglorious Bastards.
Nice.
Cable or streaming.
Cable or streaming?
Streaming.
Streaming.
Are you sure?
There we go.
Yeah.
Favorite sport.
Newly converted.
Favorite sport?
Golf.
Car racing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best restaurant in Orange County.
Best restaurant in Orange County, guys.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to go with a local restaurant to me up there in Tustin called Storico. It's great Italian food.
Okay. Oliver?
I like Javier's because when I go in there, I always get my table and I get what I want. So the one in Newport Costa. Yeah.
Vacation hotel or all-inclusive resort.
Vacation hotel or all-inclusive resort?
Vacation hotel.
Vacation hotel.
That's it, guys. You did that with about 5 seconds left. Congratulations. You're not going to win anything, but you got a round of applause. So there we go. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. So, Justin, we're going to start with you. Time for a shameless plug. Oliver, you get to do the closing plug.
Okay, sounds good. So we've done 12 deals so far this year. We've got another 4 in escrow. Even though transaction volume as a whole has managed to slow down, we're going to hit our, transaction volume target of 25 or 30 transactions a year. We haven't slowed down from that pace, and I don't think that's going to happen. So that's our shameless plug.
There you go. Oliver?
Yeah, you know what? We haven't marketed ourselves as much, me personally. And, there are rumors out there that, we're slowing down. It's not the case. Actually, last year I had my 4th best year out of 30 years, and I think Justin had his best year ever. So, we're definitely doing very well. The market has shifted. We are working with a lot of lenders, and we are selling a lot of REO deals right now. So that's probably the reason why, is that the principal transactions are getting very difficult. But other than that, we've got a track record better than anyone else out there for California hotels. So
yes, you do.
I'd be very surprised if, a lender wouldn't list with Atlas, because, not to laugh, but there is nobody better than us to sell a REO in California for a lender. Yeah.
I love it.
So.
Hey, guys, thank you for rejoining the conversation. It was great having you both in the studio today. We'll do this again soon.
Thank you, Craig.
I want to thank our audience for joining us today. I also want to thank our friends at Red Roof Franchising again. Give Matt Hostetler a call. He'd love to hear from you. Let him know that producer Danny and Craig sent you. They can be a great alternative for you if you're looking for a new brand. So thank you, guys. And remember, be kind. Share your knowledge. Now go be amazing.